Good morning, students. Today we'll start with Geography Chapter 2, Natural Resources, Land, Soil and Water. In the previous class, we have dealt about resources and we have seen types of resources and their classification. That means they were further classified on various bases. So, we will start with the natural resources. What is natural resources? That means the resources which are gifted by the nature. That means there is no involvement of the human beings. That means the natural resources that comes under that is land, air, water, soil, minerals, natural vegetation and fossil fuels. So, in the natural resources, on the basis of origin, it is further divided into biotic resources and abiotic resources. So, land comes into the abiotic resources. So, today we'll start with the land resources. As everyone knows that land is a very important resource as it is a base for the settlements and for other activities, for agriculture purposes, for forestry, for settlements. So we can say that land is a very important resource which has been gifted by the nature. That is, in our earth, it is 3/4 part is covered with water. That is 70.8%. And 1/4 part is covered with the land, that is 29.2%. So we have seen that it is 70.8% it is covered with the water and 29.2% it is covered with the land area. And you will be seeing that whole of the earth, it is differentiation in the population. You will be seeing that the population varies in different areas, and you will be seeing that all the parts of the land surface are not useful, or you can say not habitable for living. And you will be seeing the distribution of population in some of the areas are very high and some of the areas are very low. For example, you can take that the plain areas. You will be seeing in the plain areas the population will be more as compared to the tundra region. You will not be having so much population because of the climatic condition. So you will be seeing the land area which is covering that particular region will have a variation in the population. So here it is, about 90% of the world population live only 30% of the land area. That means 90% of the world population, that is a huge population, is living only on the 30% of the land area of the earth's surface, and 70% is inhabited. That means where there is no habitation, that is there is no place for living. That is, which are the areas? That is hot desert, frozen land, Antarctica region. And you will be seeing that these areas will have a different type of climatic region. Because of that, it does not support life. It supports, but it makes the life more difficult. So in these particular areas, you will have very less population, or you will see no population. So it is all about the living population on the land surface. And we'll be seeing that land is distributed in various variation. That means land areas include what are that is desert, forest, water bodies, rivers and plains. That is on the land surface. These are the features you will be seeing. That is, you will be seeing the desert, forest, water bodies, rivers and plains. Now we'll be moving about that. These lands are useful for different purposes. We use it for the agriculture, forestry, mining, roads, building houses and industries and many others. So you know that what are the uses of land? We cut down the forest for settlements. So these are the things that we use daily, or you can say for our human needs. We take from the nature, we are taking the land resources from the nature, and we are developing or setting up the industries, houses for the forestry, for the agriculture, for mining, for roads, for railways, and many other things. So these are the things. And the land, the use of the land, that means depend on two factors. That means how we are using the land depends on two factors, that is physical and the human. In the physical factors, it include relief, climate, soil, land. For example, we will see or check where it is suitable for us. For example, the slope of the land, the climatic condition, the quality of the soil, the nature of the rocks and minerals, the availability of water help in deciding the land use in a particular region, that how we can use that land for other purposes, for economic growth. So it is very important that we need to have we need to understand the physical nature of that particular region where we are trying to stay, or where we are trying to use that land. The second one, it is the human factor, that is we modify the resource, that is land. We modify it, we modified it according to our satisfaction, and we use through our skill, knowledge and technology in that particular area, that is for our benefit, that whether it is suitable for us or not. So these are the things we have to look after, that whether we can use that land for our benefit or for the other purposes. So we have to look after it, after these things. And for example, we can say that if the land is good, then we can use it for the agriculture. If the land is not so good, but we can construct the roads and railways, or for other purposes, that land can be used for the mining if there is resources inside the earth. Then so these are the things we have to see it, to modify it. So these are the ways we can check, and these are the factors which influence the land use of a particular region. So it is about the land use pattern, or you can say land use factors which influence the land of a particular region. So we are further moving to the other areas, that is we have dealt about in the previous class also, that what is resources and different types of resources and their classification. Again, we will have a recap of that the one topic is similar to the same, that is it is included in that is types of resources. It is divided into three parts, that is natural resources, human made resources and human resources. In the natural resources, we are seeing that it include land, air, water, soil, minerals, natural vegetation. And natural resources are further classified on the basis of other variation, that is on the basis of origin, on the basis of development, on the basis of renewability, on the basis of ownership, and one more is there, on the basis of distribution. But today we are going to study only about on the basis of ownership. It is talking about only the land area. So on the basis of ownership, it is divided into two areas, that is individual resources or private ownership, community resources or community ownership. These are the two areas we have to have full focus. That means how the land can be separated in two areas, that is individual or private ownership, community or community ownership, that is resources or community ownership. The first one we'll be going through is individual or private ownership, that is land owned privately by individual. That means a person own its own land. That means it is having its own area. For example, you have plantation, that is you can say agricultural land, or a big field, then pasture land, ponds, water in the wells, and houses. So these includes in the private ownership. That means it belongs to you, not to other person. Now moving to the community resources, that is community resources or community ownership. In the community ownership, it belongs to members of community. That means it belongs to a group of people. Okay, that means it belongs to a group of people that they have buyed it or buyed it from other person, and it have given a guideline. So it belongs to a member of community. For example, burial grounds, that has a common ownership. That means they buy it in a group of people and they utilize together. And then you have village public parks, picnic spots, fuel wood collection, grazing cattle, and etc. There are many. So it is also known as a common property resource, that is common to everyone. That means those people who have borrowed or bought it, that resource from the other person, that is land, they have borrowed it from the other person and they have taken it. So that is considered to be as the community ownership. The second one is the that land is being ownership. So you will be seeing that land is where it is, I think so, India is a vast country with a large population, and land is needed for other purposes also. So it is being seen that land is needed to produce food crops for human beings and raw materials for the industries. And you will be seeing the land will have a variation. Some land will be more cultivable, some lands will not be more cultivable. For example, the desert region is not more cultivable for other crops, but for other crops it is cultivable. That means that you can grow the crops. In the same way, we need a plain area for the cultivation. So these are the factors we have to look after that. So it is there that the cultivation of land depends upon various areas or factors, that is the relief. The second one is the fertility of the soil, availability of water, and needs of the people. That means the cultivation of land, it depends upon various areas, that is relief. That is relief means here means mountainous areas, plain areas. That means if you will have an agriculture in the plain areas, you will have more production of crops, but as compared to the mountainous areas, you will not have that much production of crops. You cannot grow rice in the mountainous region because the climate condition of that particular region is different from the plain areas. You will not have you will have a differentiation. You will not have the similar climatic condition in the mountainous region. You will not have the humidity, rainfall in that particular region. So it will vary in the relief. So the land need all these things, that is they need water, they need fertile soil and various things. These are the necessity, or you can say the cultivation for the crops or agriculture for the crops. The second one is the fertility of the soil. That means the soil should be fertile so that it will have a good production of crops. You cannot have impure soil or infertile soil for the cultivation. If the soil is not so good, you will have very bad condition. You will not have that much production. But if the soil is more fertile and rich in humus, you will be seeing the crops will be growing more, the production will be increased, and it will increase the economic condition of a people. The third one, that is the availability of water. It is the most important need of the world, or you can say that in the cultivation or in the agriculture purposes, water is compulsory, or you can say water is the need to enrich the soil and to have a stability, and they give energy to the plants. So it needs the availability of water. If there is no water, you will not have good production of crops. Then the last point is the needs of the people. That means if there is increase in the population, there will be more demand for the crops. That means they will be asking in more demand. So for that also we need cultivation, we need agriculture, because we have to fulfill the needs of the people. So we have to see the needs of the people, because half of the population depends on agriculture, and in daily use we eat it, whether it is pulses, whether it is rice, whether it is wheat. We use all these crops, or we can say resources, in our daily life. So we need to have to see that needs of the people. So the cultivation of land depends upon these 4 factors, that is relief, fertility of the soil, availability of water, and the needs of the people. Because of the over exploitation of resources, we have been seen that land has been damaging, it is deteriorating, and you can see in the further situation that will not be having a proper land because of the industrialization, because of the cutting down of the trees. We have let that land barren, and we are facing this, and we are disturbing the whole ecosystem and eco balance. So we need to conserve the land resources, and if we plan it, then only we'll be able to establish a good proper conservation of the land resources. So first of all, we'll see that first step we will be doing that checking further spread of desert, adopting scientific techniques, conserving soil and forest, providing irrigation facilities, increasing the use of manure and chemical fertilizers, afforestation and land reclamation, and checking overgrazing. We had dealt about what is providing irrigation facilities, increasing the use of manure. If we will increase the use of manure, what will happen? It will increase the fertility of the soil. And chemical fertilizers, we should not use so much chemical fertilizers because it will damage the soil in a process. We should use natural manure for the fertility of the soil. And we should also check overgrazing. That means the field are being given for grazing for the cattle, so that has to be checked. That means the land should not be overgrazed again and again by the cattle, so it has to be checked every time. And other areas, we'll be seeing the afforestation and land reclamation. What do you understand by land reclamation? Here means land reclamation, that it is a process of creating new land from oceans, seas, riverbeds or lake beds. That means we are regenerating the land, we are reforming the land from these areas, from the oceans, from the seas, from the riverbeds or the lake beds. So that is called that we are reclaiming or regaining, we are regenerating from these areas. So it is also known as a reclamation ground or landfill. The second one is the afforestation. Everyone knows what is afforestation. We do as a human activity deforestation, that is cutting down of trees. Here it is afforestation. It is a process. Afforestation is a process of planting trees or sowing seeds in a barren land and devote of any trees to create a forest. That means if we want to conserve the land resource, we have to plant more trees so that it will have a balance in the ecosystem or the environmental areas, so that we can conserve the land and it will have a proper balance. We should not destroy our environment because these are the important resources which are being gifted by the nature. So we have dealt about the land resources, land use and conservation of resources, and the land use depend on, what are the factors it depend on, and what are the categories. It is land come under which category, that is the private ownership and the community ownership. So it is all about. In the next class